Hi there, it's Karen at Corrie Papercrafts here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in central Scotland. Today I want to share with you a little box that I designed to hold some Tealight candles. Again, it's using the Daisy Lane stamp set and the medium Daisy punch, and it was actually after a swap that I forgot to share, I'm sure, after On Stage in April. A beautiful little daisy charm that I got from my lovely friend and fellow Pootles teammate Deb at Darcey Daisy Crafts, and it's been sitting on my desk and I've been thinking about what I could make that kind of looked like that, and I came up with this little box here, and it actually holds three specific Tealights. There's a little bit of room to spare, but it's just the easiest measurements that I could work out for the box. And these are actually soy wax Tealights made by a company called Darcey's, who are in the west of Scotland, and I'm also an ambassador for Darcey's, and I've got a team of my own as well. I've got 9 lovely ladies in my team, which is fabulous. These are looking a little bit worse for wear now because they've been in and out of the box. If you're not aware of Darcey's candles, they are all made with soy wax and synthetic fragrances, so they're all very eco-friendly and human friendly. I don't know if I've got a brochure to hand. Give me a minute, I can see one. Ooh, just out of reach as usual. This is what our Darcey's brochure looks like. There are candles and wax melts, reed diffusers, little rollerball perfumes, body lotions, shower gels, what else do we have? Aroma beads, room sprays, if I've not mentioned those already. So lots of lovely things which smell absolutely gorgeous. So if you want to know any more about Darcey's, then get in touch and I'll let you know all about them. But that's really what inspired this little box, so that I could gift some Tealights with some wax melts to a friend of mine. But the box will also hold 6, I think it is, 2, 4, 6 of the smaller Tealights, which you can buy in places like supermarkets, or I got these from Wilko. These ones here, tropical passion fruit and blueberry. So they will hold some of the smaller Tealights, but I made my box specifically to hold my Darcey's Tealights. So I'm going to show you how to make it. So I'm going to pop the box to the side just now, and I'll grab in the things that you need to make the box. I'll move my little daisy over a bit as well. So you're going to need a piece of cardstock for the actual box, which measures 7 inches by 6 inches, and you're going to need some DSP panels to decorate it, and you're going to need 3, are they the same size? No, they're not. What have I done here? I need 3 that measure 1.5 inches by 2 5/8. So it's this one that's wrong. The other 2 are right, 2 5/8, 2 5/8. Yeah, so I'll trim that down when it comes to it. So you'll need 3 that measure 1.5 by 2 5/8, as I say, but I'll trim that one down, and 2 which measure 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches for the little side panels. You don't need to decorate the bottom of the box because nobody's going to see it. And I need a piece of, I used the thick Whisper White card for stamping my daisy as well. So I'm going to get on and show you how you make it, and hopefully the battery on my camera is not going to run out before I do that. So on the long side, you want to score at 1/2 inch, at 2 1/8, then at 3 3/4, and then at 5 3/8. And then turn it round to the short side, and you've only got 2 score lines on the short side, which is 1 5/8 and 4 3/8. And that's all your scoring done, so I can get the scoreboard out of the way. And then you're just going to fold and burnish on all those score lines. And this is Mossy Meadow cardstock that I'm using. The other one that I made was using Seaside. No, it wasn't Seaside Spray. What colour was this? Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to look at the pack of paper. It is Soft Sea Foam. Seaside Spray is one of our new colours. So just very quickly, this is absolutely beautiful paper. I'll just let you see both sides of each sheet while I'm here, just to give you a quick look. I think this is my favourite sheet, which is why I went straight for it to make this little box. Just love it. But the back side of each sheet is just lovely too. And this is the same as this, which I'm using to make my box this time round, that one there. So just beautiful. I really like the vintage look on that sheet as well. So that's a wee peek at the paper. I didn't know if I was going to like it when I first saw it, when I saw it in the catalogue, when we got it at On Stage, but I absolutely love it. So that's all my scoring done. And actually, to backtrack yet again, the DSP is called Garden Lane Designer Series paper. I don't think I told you what it was called either. So I've only made this box once, so I need to bring my template back in so that I can see what I'm going to be doing, just remind myself. So we're going to be removing these parts here, which is these parts here. We're going to be making flaps out of these. This is going to be part of the sides that I want to put together. This is going to come down to make shorter flaps, and I'm going to keep these because these side panels here are actually going to be the side panels that get folded over last when I put the box together. And this little bit here becomes this little flap. And I actually wanted something that came over the front rather than tucked in, just to add a little bit of a difference to the box. And the daisy is enough to keep it in place. But if you want to, you can pop, like I've done here, just to let you see, is just pop a little mini glue dot on, and that'll hold the box together if you need to transport it somewhere, save it coming apart. So let's do some cutting. And first of all, I'm going to keep my template beside me just now. So I want to completely remove these parts, and unusually, not like a lot of other boxes, I'm going to keep these parts on the lid straight. I'm not actually going to angle those in any way, because I want to keep it straight so that it comes over and not, it isn't, what I'm trying to say is I don't want it to come too far in here so that I've got a little bit of a gap. That was more difficult to say than it really needed to be. And then I'm going to cut up all these score lines on both sides. Some are going to get trimmed down and notched, but I'm just going to cut up all the score lines first. There we are. And then before I forget, I'm going to bring in my contraband corner rounder. I really need to get the trio punch from Stampin' Up. I think I'll add it to my next order. That corner and this one, just so that I've got rounded corners for there. And as I said, I'm going to keep these as they are. So actually what I'm going to do is just trim off what's left of the score line from those panels, because I want those to sit flush against the side of the box. So just a little trim up either side of there, and then I'm going to cut this roughly in half, maybe just slightly, leave it slightly longer than half, and then notch very slightly on either side, there and there, and the same on the other side. So just slightly less than halfway, and it doesn't have to be completely straight, but I might straighten that one up a little bit. Notch at either side. Oh, it's not too bad, but let's just straighten that up a bit. There we are. Oh, don't know if that's any better or not, but never mind. It's going to be tucked on the inside of my box anyway. And then I'm going to, now looking at it with the flap part at the top, this part here is going to fold to the inside of the side of the box, if that makes sense. And I want to notch what will be the top part of here, but I want to keep the bottom part straight, because that's going to help me to line it up when I put it together like that. You'll see what I mean when I put the box together. So I'm going to notch a bit out of each of these flaps here, but I'm not going to touch the other side of those. So far it looks like this. And then I want to cut these next ones down to make a fairly short flap, because that's just going to be helping to stick the box together. So that side and this side, I've just turned it round, so that I've now got something that looks like that. And I'm going to notch very, very slightly on these flaps as well. So that side and this side. And then I'm not going to touch these flaps here. So once I've done all my cutting, it's going to look like that. So this is the short side that's top and bottom, so you want the 1/2 inch part at the top. We're going to make the tuck-in flaps for the lid closing, which are these parts here, from here. This is part of the side of the box, this is part of the side of the box, and this is going to be the outside part of the sides of the box. So if I move this template out of the way and bring in my other template, it's going to show me where I want to put my tape. Now I need to turn it over and add some tearing tape to near the folds on this side. Then I want to turn it back and pop some tape on either side of these flaps here. But I'm actually thinking, so that I've got a bit of wiggle room to put the box together, I might use my liquid glue instead. But I'll put my tearing tape onto these little flaps here in any case, because that's going to help to stick my box together. And I'm just keeping the tearing tape. Actually, this isn't my tearing tape, this is a different tape. I don't know how I've managed to get that on my desk. So just ignore some contraband just for a minute. Oops. Although my tearing tape is nearly finished, and I don't know where I've put it. I did get it out. And I'm going to leave these parts here, I think, and put tearing tape on instead. So to put the box together, I'm going to take do you know what, I'm not. I'm actually going to put my DSP panels on first. That's what I'm going to do before I join it together. So if you've got a directional pattern, obviously you want to make sure that your flowers or whatever are the right way up, but this is not a directional pattern, so it's not quite so bad. Now I need to find the bit that I needed to trim, so that is 2 5/8. That is 2 5/8, and if I just quickly bring in my trimmer, I'll trim this one down to 2 5/8 as well. I don't know how I managed that, so there we are. So I'm going to pop not tearing tape, I'm going to pop some liquid glue onto these panels as well, just for quickness. If I can get any glue to come out. I keep saying it in every video, it is going to run out eventually, but it really is. Every video I do, it gets closer to running out. So I'm going to pop one on each of the outside side panels, and that they measure 1.5 inches square, and these are just, and 1 5/8 rather, square, so that's why these are cut to 1.5 inches square, just to give it that little border round the outside. I think this really is running out now, so while I'm sticking this on, I'll pop it back in its little box where it lives to let the glue run to the nozzle at the top. I'm just going to pop them on there, and because this panel here is the bottom, I'm not going to put a piece of paper on there, but I am going to put paper on the other 3 panels, but I don't have to worry about the direction. So just, oops, very quickly pop on some glue, get it all over my hands while I'm at it. So I need to get my eraser remover just very shortly. I'll try and pick up that little splodge there. There we go. And just another bit on here. Try not to squirt it over me or my grid paper this time. Oh, I really am making a mess tonight. I'm covered in glue now. Crikey. Put that panel on there like that, just with a little border round. Same with the last one. Pop that on there. Just give that time to stick, and I'll just give it a little press with my paper folder, and now I'm ready to stick it together. But actually, while they're drying a little bit, I think I'll bring in my Whisper White cardstock and my little daisy punch from the Daisy Lane stamp set. I'm back using this little daisy here with my medium daisy punch. So pop that back over there just now. I'm going to bring in my Mossy Meadow ink, because it's Mossy Meadow cardstock, and the colour in the background of my DSP is Mossy Meadow. So remembering that the punch, the petals on the punch, go north, south, east and west if you like. I'm going to make sure that I stamp my daisy that way round as well. I'm going to stamp 2. There we go. So I'm going to let those dry before I punch them out. So while they're doing that, I'll bring my box back in and I'll stick it together. So I want to take the backing off the tape on each of these sides, and then I want to join these little tabs to this part of the box here, just like you would normally put a box together. So this straight edge here, although I've managed to crumple that a little bit, to that folded edge there on both sides. So one side joined together there, and one side joined together there. I'm just trying to see it without too many shadows, because again this is another evening video. So give that a little bit of a press with my paper folder, and what I want to do then is bring the front of the box up and fold these side panels round like that, and just make sure that it all sits nice and flush. So the best way to get some wiggle room is to use some liquid glue, and I just want to make sure that I've got it as close as I can get to the edge on both squares. I'm really running out of glue now. I'm having to really squeeze this, which is why I'm going a little bit squint. There we are. So I want to bring this side up and round and make sure that it's flush on the bottom side, but it's pushed right to the back of the box to keep it nice and square. Just pop it down and give it a little press, and the same with this side here. So I want to make sure that it's nice and even on the bottom and lined up as best I can towards the back, and again that glue just gives me a little bit of wiggle room. So that looks okay, so I'll give that a bit of a press and that a bit of a press. I've got a little bit of extra glue in there, but I'll use my eraser remover once that's dry, because I forgot I had trimmed the inside flap, so I probably would have been better putting it on the flap that I had trimmed. And that's my box ready. I need to shorten. No, that's okay. I thought that wasn't going to go in, but it is. So very quickly I want to punch out my two daisies and stick those together. So just lining up the punch with a kind of even white border round, and same again with this one. Sometimes it lines up perfectly, and other times you seem to have to wiggle about for ages before you're happy to punch it out. So there we are. Sorry about that noise, it's not the quietest of things. And I think I'll just use a mini glue dot to stick these daisies together. So I want to offset them like I did on my little cards, if you saw that video, and that looks about right. If I could get my paper piercer to unstick. Whoops, there we are. And then in the middle of my daisy I used one of the clear faceted dots. Now I think it was the middle size, so I'll pop one of those in the middle just like that, and I think that is absolutely beautiful. And then what I didn't do was use my paper folder just to curl the petals on the daisies ever so slightly. So I'll just do it now. And then I used a dimensional, oops, to just pop on the back of there. I've got my Darcey's candles in that one, so I'll pop the, no, I am going to trim these a little bit more actually. They're just not too happy to go into this box, so I'll just trim them ever so slightly and straighten that up a bit. I'm not a straight cutter tonight at all, and just give that a little trim and that another little trim. There we are. Oops. I'll glue my scissors now as well, it's all going swimmingly. So pop those, oops, in there. Oh, come on, candle. So that's my 6 of the other candles in there. Just pop those flaps back in either side, and keeping this flap outside, just add my little daisy fairly centrally, so that the petals hold the lid closed. That's not in the middle at all, Karen. I don't know why you thought it was. That looks a bit better. And the candles give you something to push against, and that's it. That's my little box that I designed to hold either 3 Darcey's candles like this, and I've managed to bend the petals on this little daisy, picking it up and putting it down. There we are. And that is, what did I call that? Soft sea foam. This one is Mossy Meadow. Both the same box but with a completely different look. I don't know what your favourite is, let me know. I think I still prefer this one, but I think it's just because I really love the paper. And that's it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It would be lovely to see you dropping in regularly, and click on the little bell icon, and that'll give you a reminder when I post another video. If you want to know any more about Stampin' Up, please get in touch and I'll be more than happy to tell you. Or if you want to know anything more about Darcey's, again, get in touch and I'll be happy to tell you a little bit about Darcey's as well. Thanks again for now though, take care, bye bye.